This episode of Another Happy Pod is brought to you by Ken Watanabe.
Ken Watanabe. We don't have a joke, we just really like him. Another Happy Pod.
I know this is ridiculous, but normally I've not been introducing straight away with the intro recently. I've been doing a little bit of banter beforehand.
All right.
It's normally a lot more natural. It normally comes up a bit more naturally than this.
Hello and welcome to Another Happy Pod, the show where we talk about pop culture and try to keep it a little bit positive and optimistic. We don't always succeed, but we do have a good time doing it. My name is Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Lawrence, a noted...
Oh, come on.
I'm not doing that again, so bleep that out.
That's what I got. Fantastic. Right. Okay, hello. New theme, new intro, new us.
New artwork coming soon, maybe?
Soon, maybe. William, who is kindly organising some new artwork for us, is a busy boy. So I've hassled him twice already, but I'm not going to hassle him again. So on your own time, Will, but just know that we've clearly announced the rebranding this week and you missed the deadline.
Poor Will. No, shout out to Will. He does good work.
He does good work. He's a good boy, a handsome boy.
He is indeed.
Shame about his hairline, though.
Brutal.
You never know. You're never safe with me, Nathan.
I mean, people in glass houses, though, Lawrence. I mean, we're not exactly the fucking... We've not got the healthiest of hairlines going on. So.
No, it's true. It's true. Will, I greatly apologise.
We're all getting a bit thin up top, okay?
So the years have been especially cruel.
Exactly.
Right, Nathan, what are we chatting about today?
So we are chatting about 4 of the greatest movies ever made.
Oh gosh. Right, well, that's your opinion on them. What are those 4 great movies?
That's not opinion. That is fact. So it's 2014's Godzilla, 2017's Kong Skull Island, 2019's Godzilla King of Monsters. And majority of the episode, I think, will be Godzilla vs. Kong 2021. Yeah. But we will also touch on the other monster. We're doing the Monsterverse, the verse of monsters.
It's coming out at the same time as... is this the end? Is this the end of it?
I don't think so.
But like, this is like of the Monsterverse. This is like the Avengers, right? Like, where'd you go after this?
Age of Ultron.
Well, I suppose they got that.
Yeah, not like specifically, but
next up in the Monsterverse is just Joss Whedon's Age of Ultron.
Yeah, exactly.
As it was released in 2015, no changes have been made. It is the film that you already know.
Just at the beginning, it just says Monsterverse instead of Marvel. So.
Yeah, it's still got the same intro. They've just it goes dun 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 dun. It gets into it, but then instead someone's just scribbled it over and says Monsterverse Studios.
Exactly. Why
That's
not?
how it works.
They should get like a logo done for these movies. But I don't think this is the end. We're massively jumping ahead here, but I really don't feel like this is the end, especially because like at the moment Godzilla vs. Kong is doing bits. So if they're smart, this is not going to be the end. To
be fair, these movies have always done well, like with regards to like kind of fan response, Twitter, because that's where you go to find out if a movie is good these days. No one fucking looks at critic scores anymore, really. What did you... Right, so I basically, as I'm sure you did, I went back and rewatched all of these in preparation for this. There were some I hadn't seen. When I say some, I mean most.
Really?
Kong Skull Island was the only one I saw in cinema as it came out. I think
I was there.
Sorry?
I was there. I was with you.
Oh, you were, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. We went to see it together. We laughed a lot. We
did
in the cinema together. Yeah.
Do you know what? I've got a lot to say on that one, so we'll swing around. I'd watched a little bit of Godzilla, but I was not in like the right setting. I think I was watching it at I don't know, when I was like half asleep at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I don't think I even got through it. So I rewatched that in full on a TV that would complement a movie that appreciates scale. And I'd never seen or had a desire to see Godzilla King of Monsters. So I had a lot of homework and catching up to do this week. But yeah, what about you? Have you you'd seen them all, I'd presume, prior to this.
I had, yeah. I saw them all at the release in cinemas. So saw Godzilla in 2014. Like I said, saw Kong Skull Island with you, and then I saw King of Monsters at a cinema in Portugal when I had just moved there.
Did it have an intervallo?
It did have an intervallo. Yeah, it did have an intervallo, as all movies in Portugal do. It also, for the camera, I got this tattoo on the exact day that I saw that movie, and I remember feeling very kind of tired and a little bit sick, because that's kind of just how you feel after a tattoo. Yeah. So I went, I'm just going to go to the fucking cinema. Why not? So I went there. I arrived 10 minutes late. The film had already started, but I just thought, fuck it. Godzilla wouldn't have shown up yet. Let's just go in. It won't matter that much. No. And then I watched it again literally the other day. I realized I actually missed quite a lot. There was quite a lot of story in that opening little 10-15 minutes or so that I just completely missed. But saying that didn't affect my enjoyment. Still enjoyed it. So, and I'm just going to say, I wasn't joking when I said, well, I was kind of joking when I said the 4 greatest movies ever, because they're not. I know they're not like critically amazing movies, but also I fucking love them. I unapologetically love all of these movies. They're just so much fun.
Do you want me to run through a quick like throwdown of my opinions if I summarize everyone?
Not everyone. Let's start with 2014 Godzilla, which I think is the most serious and the most trying to be like a proper film.
Yeah.
Of
for
the
sure.
4 of them.
So
yeah.
Firstly, I'd say about this, it's weird because they hadn't. I don't think they'd established the tone yet. They really hadn't.
Definitely not.
And they were they came into it, like you say, trying to be very serious. Few things though, it is easy to forget how talented Aaron Taylor-Johnson is. He's actually a very, very good actor in this movie. And I'll be honest, I thought Bryan Cranston was going to be in it a hell of a lot more than he was.
So did everyone. Yeah, I remember if you watch the trailers, like this movie is sold as Bryan Cranston versus Godzilla.
Well, this is 2014, right? Breaking Bad ended in 2013, so marketing wise,
exactly.
I understand.
It was the height of fucking Bryan mania, and he was going to be Lex Luthor, but that never happened. It was everything.
Bald casting is the best.
Bold casting, yeah. He was full front at like all of the trailers, but yeah, he dies about half an hour into the movie.
Yeah, literally.
A spoiler alert, by the way.
Yeah. The spoilers for everything. Sorry. Yeah. No, saying that though, my favorite moment in this, of all the weird favorite moments to appreciate, my favorite in this is there's a heartbreaking moment where before he speaks to his wife, when he basically has to lock his wife in with that weird radiation kind of thing, and obviously his wife dies. It's before he sees his wife, and he sees a random dude that's just like, "Hey, can you open the door?" and it's so sad, man. But he just mouths "I'm sorry," and is obviously just devastated by this loss of life. And it's Bryan Cranston's he's amazing at what he does.
He is really good. There's one moment I really like in that first movie is it's a little later when he's gone crazy, and not gone crazy, but he's just a little bit paranoid about everything.
He's the movie trope of a man who's been caught up in his work.
Exactly. Yeah.
His hair's a bit scruffier, his shirt's untucked, and he walks around really frantically.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the moment where he's being interrogated by Monarch, and he just basically lists off everything that's happening, and he's just telling them that they're all stupid and that they're all gonna die because of Godzilla is coming, and it's just incredible. It's easy to forget, especially if you watch Malcolm in the Middle, but Bryan Cranston is an amazing actor, and it's so bizarre that that's how he got his start. But I mean, fair play to the guy.
Yeah, exactly. Get noticed where you can, but then like when you consider like he went on from Malcolm in the Middle to Breaking Bad, it's just so weird.
It really is.
It's such a weird shift.
He's like walking around in like his Y-front underpants, having roofs fall on his head, and then all of a sudden, he's just the most incredible actor ever.
Still walking around in his underpants as well for the first scene.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Actually, didn't think of that.
What you got against underpants, Nathan?
I don't.
Maybe that's part of his contract. Bryan Cranston won't be in anything unless he has a scene exclusively in his oversized briefs.
Well, he didn't have that in Godzilla, so I don't think it is.
No, well, that's why he died so early. He shot half of it. They shot the whole thing, and then he found out that they were going to cut his brief scenes. He was like, I want to die now.
I'll tell you what, it's a power move, but I respect it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if I'm not wearing my pants, I'm not in this film.
Yeah. So what did you think of the rest of the cast of Godzilla?
I liked it. I think this was before they realised that Elizabeth Olsen really could act, because they didn't give her a lot to do, which is obviously
she just kind of cried a bit, really.
Yeah, basically. I think
the scene. I don't know if you felt this as well, but the scenes with her and Aaron Taylor Johnson, they just felt really wrong to watch. It just. Obviously, they're not related, but we've had so long of thinking of them as brother and sister thanks to Marvel, so it is just a bit icky watching.
Yeah, it comes across as very weird, like it did. Yeah, especially because it's like the first time you see them in a scene together is they're basically just about to fuck, and it's like it's just a bit like oh dear.
I think Age of Ultron came out like a year after this as well.
Must have been very weird, like acting exercises. Like, how do you prepare to play the lover and brother of someone in, like, presumably filming around the same time? Like,
they can't have been that far apart.
No, like, if they weren't at the same time, it would have been, like, one straight after the other. Which is very weird. But, yeah, no, they didn't give her much to do, but Aaron Taylor Johnson's in this for, like, he's basically the protagonist. He's great. I love the fact that he's, like, running around caring after, like, the kids and the small shit, the small-scale stuff.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think? I did say this like up top with the joke advert that we do now apparently, but Ken Watanabe.
Oh, he's great. He's great in everything.
He's amazing, isn't he?
He's just so good. The man.
He's so fucking good.
The man is built right to say like movie one-liners and trailer moments. It's like
he is. He really is. Like the moment where he says "Let them fight," like. It's great in that movie, but it should have been reserved for the most recent one because every time he says that, I just get chills. It's so good.
It is so good. It's the slow zoom and everything. Like in fairness, right? This movie, like it will be forgotten as the bland one, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it kind of is.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get onto that because there's one that I'll be honest, made me want to blow my brains out.
No.
Yeah. So no, like this one. If I was going to put them in an order, this is number 3.
As in one is not the best or the.
Oh no, as in one's the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is a solid 3 for me. But by no means a good film. I just think the other ones nail the tone a bit more. They get a bit more fun, and they kind of come into their own.
I think I'd agree with number 3 for this, actually.
Yeah. We're rating them now. We don't do this.
I know. Everything's changing. Just quickly before we move on, though, the man himself, the big boy.
Oh, yeah. Great, man. You don't get Gareth Edwards and not do big boys.
Yeah, that's true.
He's fucking great. Like, he's taken over from Peter Jackson as, like, the scale master. Like there's something about it that he understands. The stuff that's shot from like ground level. This is the film that nails ground level conflicts, and then like every now and again a building just falls and you look up and it's Godzilla and you're like, oh yeah, shit. Yeah, he's good in this, and the CG is fucking insanely good.
It's amazing, the CG. The scale. Gareth Edwards is really good at scale. Like there's that moment in Rogue One where you just see the Star Destroyer next to the Death Star, and you just realized how fucking huge the Death Star actually is. Yeah, it's really good. And Gareth Edwards does do that really well. Godzilla is I think one of the biggest criticisms of this movie is that the movie is called Godzilla, and he's hardly in it, really.
Yeah.
It keeps massively teasing you with the monsters. Like, you get a little bit, and then they'll take it away, and then you get a little bit, and then they'll take it away again, and then you'll see it, like, on the news in the background, and then they'll take it away. And then, like, you get the full fight at the end, but it is massively teasing you. Which
this never would have worked from a marketing point of view, but they should have marketed this as just a Japanese action film.
Yeah.
And then watched as like everyone collectively lost their minds when it was revealed.
Yeah, that never would have worked.
No,
because no one would have seen it.
But then would everyone have gone to see it? Would everyone been like, word of mouth, this movie's incredible?
Well, maybe. Yeah, that could happen, but it's banking a lot on word of mouth though. Would studios take that risk? No, they wouldn't.
No, for sure not.
But yeah,
what
like I said,
is this?
massive.
What studio does this again?
It's Warner Brothers and Legendary.
Oh no chance.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I've never met a studio that cares more about fucking line in their pockets than Warner Brothers. Jesus.
Yeah, like I was saying, yeah, teasing. It really does massively tease you, and I think that's something the other movies moved away from the better. Like, because the next one, Kong Skull Island, he is there in like the first minute of a movie. You see him, and then the monster fights and everything like that. They're not really hidden away. They're like, yeah, have them. That's what you see these movies for. So
yeah,
here you go. Which for me works out all the better. For some people, it might be for the worse, but for me, it's the better.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'd agree with that. I have an apology to make earlier.
Oh, here we go.
Right. Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
I abused this movie when it came out.
He did.
I laughed at this movie. I hated this movie. And I thought, this is the dumbest thing. Now, years have passed. I'd say I'm less pretentious in my choice of... basically, back then, I think I had the opinion of, if it's not a serious movie, it can't be a movie for me.
Lawrence, I've been teasing you about that since we fucking met.
Yeah, no, I know. And this podcast is making me better at films. Yeah, look, I rewatched this. This is number one. This is like...
Oh, this is number one?
This is number one. Inject this into my veins. This is fucking sick. I loved every second of this. Like
it's a good movie.
Mate, it is better than that. I loved every second of this, man. Like the style that this has attached to it, the fact that like, look, overall, my overarching theme, and I'm going to get into this in the next one massively. I fucking hate the human character aspect of a lot of these movies.
That's fair.
I find them so boring and so dull and so lacking of anything to do. So when you give me like fucking John C. Reilly, Samuel L. Jackson just being straight up cartoons, when you give me Tom Hiddleston being like the most ridiculous like action hero that you'd ever see, and then you get that kind of touch of like human side from Brie Larson, who's just so good. Oh man, I'm here for like every second of this movie. Like I feel awful about how much I slated it.
I remember when we came out of the cinema, you were really not kind to this movie. Or one thing I remember specifically that seemed to really piss you off back then was the music, because I remember you saying that like they kept jamming it down your throat that it's like a Vietnam reference because of all like the music that they kept playing, which is kind of true.
Yeah,
it is very Vietnam, look at us, let's play some 70s rock while we fly through the jungle. But it works for me, man.
Yeah. So nothing about my perception of that has changed other than the fact that I presume I'm less angry.
Okay.
Because it's the exact same. I wasn't wrong. They are very much so like, did you know it's the 70s every 5 seconds? I actually I made notes for like a lot of these because I thought if we're talking about 4 movies, I've kind of got to remember a lot of stuff, and these are the kind of movies that blend together, in my opinion. So I wrote down where is it? I'm picturing someone in Hollywood pressing a big red button that just says Rolling Stones on it in an edit. So I'd imagine they get into an edit and they go, helicopter in the sky? Fuck it. Rolling Stones, like, and everything, like, it's every other scene, but it is good. And also, like, it helps that the Rolling Stones make good music, so it's not exactly annoying to listen to.
And then there's like the Apocalypse Now shots with like their helicopters and Kong in the sunset and everything like that. It's all very deliberate. But I think you're 100% right what you're saying about the cast. And again, for all the movies, while I do love them, I do agree that the human element is by far the weakest parts of the movie.
Yeah.
This clearly has the best cast of all of the movies. I mean, you got four big hitters. Well, three big hitters of the Marvel Universe, and then another one who's there for fun. Tom Hiddleston, Sam Jackson, Brie Larson, John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
You got John Goodman. You got some amazing actors. You got fucking Kevin from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, that's another one of my notes. I said being sexist doesn't suit Kevin. There's this moment where like Brie Larson walks up and he's like, is it Mark Evan Jackson? Is that his name?
I could not tell you. Hold on, I'm on the IMDb page now. Mark Evan Jackson.
Yeah. And he just uses it, like, he's got a voice for comedy. He uses the same voice and everything. He's one of the actors that doesn't play a character. He just plays him in a scenario.
Absolutely.
But that's fine with me because he's more so always there for comic relief. So Brie Larson walks up and he's like, "Oh, I thought you were going to be a man," or something like in his just nasally voice, and I'm like, "Oh, that didn't sit right. that sounds weird because you're normally a very wholesome guy." So that was fun.
It is a shame that like this movie is set in the 70s because really, if this universe does continue, we can't really see them again unless like time travel or they do a movie set in the past again, which is possible. Both of them are possible, really, but one less so. But like,
I don't know. We'll get into some of the ridiculous jumps in technology.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, the cast is great. What did you think of like the more MonsterVerse stuff? This movie, Skull Island, I think is just fucking insane in the best way possible. It's the most fucking batshit crazy place to be ever.
I'm gonna jump in, right? Because in my opinion, despite the fact that there's now 3 movies all set in big cities, like big lived-in cities.
Yeah.
The one set on a deserted island where there's like 9 people on this ridiculous stretch of land is the only one where I feel like humans are collateral damage. Which is ridiculous.
I mean, a lot less humans died in this movie than the others.
Yeah, but the difference is when these ones die, you see them get ripped in two. You see them fall into a monkey's mouth. You see like a big fucking like grasshopper thing just ram one of its arms down someone's entire body. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I don't know why this one is so different, but it is. And it's really weird.
It is. Yeah, it is a lot different than the others. Maybe because it's like set in the past, like you say, it is the different location.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess one thing I'd say to that is there's a lot less people to focus on, really. So it's easier to like see the individual deaths because if you've just got like, you know, Godzilla and Ghidorah smashing through a city, then you aren't really focusing on the literally millions of screaming and dying people below them.
I would concede that point and be very willing to accept it if the base of the next movie wasn't about the death of a child that I didn't see or know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'll summarise on Skull Island. Obviously, I said it's my number one, for sure. It's so, like... I think, basically... So in the time since I've watched this, I finished uni, I went back to uni, did an editing qualification, and I've really taken that on as like a main passion of mine. So watching this back with a kind of editing mind frame now, which I do with a lot of movies, this is impeccable. Like, this is cut to a precision. Like, there's certain things about this that I just think are so technically impressive. Like, for example, that whoever's genius idea it was, there's a moment where one of the soldiers is falling into Kong's mouth, And you see Kong, like literally a millisecond of Kong begin to shut his mouth, and it just smash cuts to someone eating a sandwich, like really close up. And it's just like it's those little things where I'm like, this is the creative flair that I think was it's so difficult, because I think the creative flair was missing in the first one completely. And I think the most recent one, Godzilla versus Kong, has found like a beautiful position between the serious and the dumb. But yeah, where are you putting it?
So this is your number one.
Yeah.
And you were saying Godzilla's number 3, right?
Yeah.
So we have the same number 3. Mm-hmm. I can guess what your number 4 is. So
I haven't been shy about it.
So basically our number 1 and 4, flip them around, and then that's me and you.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is number 4 for me. I still love it. It's still a great movie, but I put this as number 4. And yes, my number 1 is your number 4, which we'll get into right now.
Oh no. Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is ask you why you like this next one.
Because it's
which is by the way King of Monsters, right?
Yeah, King of Monsters. Yeah. Because it's so fucking stupid and ridiculous, okay? The fact that in the end battle of this movie, Godzilla is so fucking nuclear that buildings are literally melting to the ground as he walks by them, and the fact that he has King Ghidorah's head in his mouth, shooting his fucking atomic breath through it, it's just fucking batshit insane, okay? When I went to see this movie, like I said, I was a little bit tired. I was feeling a little bit sick. All I wanted to see was just dumb fucking monster action. All I wanted to see was giants kicking the shit out of each other, and I got my money's worth. So I'm happy with this movie.
I can't deny, right? This movie. Well, I'd say this movie looks great. I find
this movie does look great. There's some great shots in this movie.
There are. It's more the CG is great. It's more the light show is impressive, and the big monster battles are very technically impressively made.
That's fair.
I think. I'm sorry about this, by the way.
I already know you don't like it. You don't have to be sorry.
Okay, I fucking hated this. I felt like 2 hours of my life are down the drain. This movie has an average runtime of about 10 minutes more so than the other 3, and that 10 minutes felt like 4 more fucking hours. I finished this, and I turned to Zucchini and went, time for bed, right? Because I wanted to end the day. Look, I'm being harsh, but if you're right. So the first Godzilla itself, right? Godzilla 2014.
Yeah.
It was exactly this, but with a decent subplot. Now, I've already said the human elements are like the weakest part, but at least when I'm like, my head is gone, that's enough smashing for 5 minutes. I know that I can cut away to something that's just going to give me a breather. Whenever we cut away to like Carl Chandler, is that his name? Carl Chandler, right?
Carl Chandler, yeah.
Yeah, him, his weird ex-wife, and like just other stuff going on. I just didn't give a shit about any of it. Right,
Did you not like Bradley Whitford?
He's which one again?
He's Jake's dad and the
Jake
guy from
Peralta's dad. Yeah, I thought so. He's fine. He's like, there are a lot of people that do. There's a lot of people in this, and that's one of my other things, right? I don't care about 20 people in lab coats.
There's Ice Cube's son as well.
He's good. I will admit he's good. I liked him. He's got some funny one-liners. He's got a lot of play in this, and he's quite fun. I think my main issue stemmed from the fact that it was like the plot I was supposed to give one about was like the the death of the son. That, like I said, I've already given my point about how the fact that we don't see it means I automatically couldn't give one, because it was obviously
This movie kind of opens in the same way Batman v Superman does.
Thank you.
Yeah, you see the tragedy of the past movie, but from a different perspective.
Yeah, but when it comes to Batman, right, it's good. It's one of the best scenes in Batman v Superman.
It's the best scene. It's the only good scene in that movie.
When it cuts to Kyle Chandler just walking around like, "Where's my son?" Like, I don't care. Like, I didn't care. I wouldn't have cared if I saw someone die in 2014, right? Because it just happens, right? Obviously, but a big lizard is gonna level the city. I assume that people died.
Yeah.
So when they make an entire subplot about, and then how Kyle Chandler, like, fucking, presumably, right, it's alluded to that he just becomes a big alcoholic, but then he goes and takes photos of birds. Why?
Wolves, wasn't it? I don't. Does it become a big alcoholic?
Yeah, man. He's like, I'm just. Actually, there's a moment where he's like, I let my daughter see me like that. I mean, I guess I don't know if it's an alcoholic, but it's clearly suggested that like he was either aggressive or like basically not being a prime good dad in front of his daughter when she was younger, because she obviously doesn't grow up with him. They obviously don't really have much of a relationship as a father and daughter.
I think basically what happened is his son died, and that just pretty much destroyed his relationship with his wife. They just couldn't carry on anymore. They broke up. He became very distant and just moved away and took pictures of wolves or whatever. That I never really got any hints of alcoholism or anything. Yeah, it was a strained relationship.
I disagree. Fair enough. It might not be that because they didn't elaborate too much on it. And I do think that comes from Warner Brothers wanting their protagonists to be redeemable in the future if necessary. Rather, because if you just straight up said like he's an alcoholic, he beat his wife, then I'm not going to give a fuck about him. Like if he dies, I'm going to cheer. So
that's true.
Yeah. So I presume that's the reason they didn't allude to it. But there is a very telling line where he just said, "My biggest regret is letting my daughter see me get like that." Which presumably is before the end of the relationship, because at the start of it, they're not on really speaking terms. She's sending him like an email, like you always do. I know for a fact I can't go a day without emailing my dad.
I had the exact same thought when I was watching that scene, because like I said, I completely missed the first like 10-15 minutes of the movie first time I saw it, so that was all new to me. And when she got an email from her dad, I was like, I don't think I've ever emailed my dad in my life.
Right. The only time I think I've ever emailed, I think I've got my dad's email address, and it was because I needed to send my like CV for him to print at home or something like that. But it wasn't like a, "Hey Dad, how are you?" kind of thing.
Look at these pictures of wolves I took.
Yeah, especially when you consider that I'm supposed to believe that in this time, people email their dads, but in like a couple of years they'll be flying fucking spaceships. So that I mean,
they're kind of flying spaceships in this one though. That Monarch jet's pretty sweet.
I mean, yeah, but not everyone and their mum's got one. Like,
no one's got a spaceship in Godzilla vs.
There's at least like 8 spaceships in Godzilla vs.
Yeah, but they're all from the same company.
Yeah, we'll get there. Listen, right, this one, I just, you know the classic divorce story. Dad moves away to take pictures of wolves. Mum becomes an eco-terrorist. Like, none of this mattered to me. It was just, how do we insert human drama in a story that no one asked for more human expansion in?
That's 100% right. You are completely massively correct there. They are all very badly written. The mum's storyline in particular, what the fuck is going on there? She just wanted to protect her daughter. She worked for Monarch. She was overseeing Mothra. We'll get back to Mothra. And then suddenly she's a fucking eco-terrorist who wants to destroy the world, like working for Charles Dance. All of that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like I said, this movie's fucking insane. But yeah, I don't care about any of that shit. Just give me Godzilla and his butterfly girlfriend kicking the fuck out of monsters, man.
Yeah, right, because them two are definitely fucking. Like,
they are.
They go off into the sea together and they are just straight up at it. Yeah, no,
they
like,
make love.
Oh, passionate. Yeah, this. Look, I'll just be honest. This whole movie bored the fuck out of me.
How I don't understand how this movie can bore you.
Well, that's why I was shocked as well.
In the human elements, yeah, all right, completely understand. In those human scenes, completely get it. Yeah, it is boring, but when you've got like the fucking King Ghidorah and Rodan and everything like that, how are you? I don't understand how you can be bored during those movies. I was physically cheering. I was sat here in this very seat I am now with my arms in the air cheering as they fought. I fucking loved it.
I don't know. Maybe I hate fun. Like
well, that's been established.
Yeah, clearly. No, because I'm in the same boat. Like in the next film, like there was moments where like Godzilla and Kong are fighting, and I'm like cheering them on and shit like that. Like that, I do respond to stuff like that. Something about this movie, I just didn't give a fuck. I think it's because every time it got interesting, they cut back to like, oh, this skull is this is an alien actually, not a thing that came from Earth. This is. Now there's the world is flat or some like it just felt like so much like plot for a movie that was quite specifically designed to show a lizard beat up things.
That's my exact thoughts on the first one though. I think the first one is the one that always cuts away from the more interesting stuff. And I think the reason this one might seem more guilty of that is because the human storyline is a lot worse than the first one.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, granted, I will give you that. But this one, I think it does show you the monster action a lot more. Definitely a lot more than in the first one.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's what I'm here for. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Ken Watanabe, again, the man of the hour, the legend. What did you think of his death scene? Did you find it emotional, because I actually cried?
It was sad, I will say. Like it was one of the few moments this movie did resonate with me, and I went, "Oh man, that kind of sucks." Because he is it's a blow to the universe kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you know that you're probably not going to see him again. I mean, let's be honest, they're probably going to be reviving people next movie. But like kind of as an audience, it's going to be a while if ever we see him again. And he's good, and I'd imagine Warner Brothers took that decision like very carefully because he's one of the reasons that people do come back to this. Yeah, he's also one of the few ethnic faces that you actually see in this movie that was kind of bred on culture from Japan. So yeah, there's something in that. I think there's maybe worth unpacking by someone more educated than me. But yeah, I don't know. I liked him, and he's brilliant at acting. He's brilliant at what he does, especially his role in these. But a lot of the time, I felt like this movie just kind of reduced him to trailer lines again. So it was sad, but ultimately, I was more sad that I had to watch this film.
Fucking hell.
I'm sorry. I like the first one. I love the second one. I'll sing its praises. I love Skull Island. I will forever apologize about how much I love that one. And the next one that we're going to talk about, I again loved. But this, I wasn't here for this one. I'm sorry.
Well, fair enough. No, I completely understand why you don't like it. I understand why everyone doesn't like it. I'm just weird. I don't know what it is. I just really enjoyed this movie. Like I said, it's just batshit insane. Fucking mega nuclear Godzilla. Give me that. Yeah. His butterfly girlfriend Mothra is amazing. By the way, I don't know anything about all the old Godzilla movies. Like I haven't seen like the Shinto movies or anything like that, the originals. So don't know anything about like the history of the characters. Don't care, to be honest. Just really like this interpretation or whatever. So I'm sure Mothra is different. Maybe Rodan is different. Maybe King Ghidorah is not an alien. But I like that he is an alien. So there we go. Yeah.
No, fair enough. I think one of the few things it did well, I think, was set up sequels. Because Warner Brothers do make trailer movies. We all know that. there's a few like moments in this that I think like, oh, it'd be cool when they expand on that. And I think maybe one of the reasons I didn't like it is because they don't expand on it in the actual movie that we're watching.
Yeah.
But a lot, to be fair, like some
do you have an
off.
example of that?
The big skull kind of thing. I know it's more of like a trailer credit kind of thing. At least I think it was.
What do you mean?
When Charles Dance goes and buys a big skull.
That literally ties into the very next movie.
That's what I'm saying. But it didn't tie into the movie that we were in. Do you know what I mean? Like we didn't see.
Oh, right. Okay.
I don't know. I guess that's a weak example. I'm struggling to think of one off the top of my head. But I just felt like a lot of this was set up for the next big one, which obviously they were clearly building to. And probably wanted to do from the very first one, but then the studio went, no, we've rushed universes before. Let's not again.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, so especially because that would have been the time. I would have normally assumed that they would have made a Godzilla movie, a Kong movie, and then a Godzilla v Kong movie. But this came out in 2017,
2019.
2019.
This one came out.
Oh, okay, so so this is after the reaction to rushing Justice League. That is very telling. Yeah. Okay, interesting. So. Right, at the time we normally wrap up episodes, should we talk about the main topic of the episode?
Yeah. Yeah. Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, 1 sec. Carry on talking, Nathan. I'm just going to stop my cat eating a plant.
Oh no, I've got a stall. So Lawrence has a cat. That cat is called Jarvis. He is named after a robot from Marvel. I told him better names to call the cat.
I'm like back, Trevor. But I want to hear this.
Oh no. Oh no. I was just basically talking about your cat.
Oh, I heard the whole thing. I always do. Nathan, Godzilla versus King Kongery. What do you reckon?
Godzilla versus Kong, you fool. Yeah, it's... I don't really know 100% what to say about it, to be honest. It's dumb, it's stupid, but you have a big monkey fighting a big crocodile, so, like, it was always going to be stupid, but...
I have a question.
Ooh, yeah.
And I'm because I've literally the credits were rolling as I came up and set up for this pod, so I'm straight off seeing it. I haven't read anything. I've tried to steer clear of like as many spoilers as I possibly could. There wasn't much to spoil though. I think the trailers kind of ruined a big surprise, which was a bit of a bummer. So, is Skull Island an actual island?
As in like in our Earth, in real life? Yeah.
So like it opens with Kong, right?
Yeah.
And he's chilling out, and he looks like he's having a whale of a time.
Do you mean like the movie Kong Skull Island? Is that set in a natural place, or is it in that simulation thing?
Yeah,
is that what you're asking?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think Skull Island is a real place, but at some point they clearly transported Kong to this facility. Because
they don't explain that, and it led to a very question of, did someone just let John C. Reilly suffer for like 50 years?
Yeah, exactly. They don't explain it at all. Like, the movie opens up, Kong is on his island, he's going about his day, he's saying hello to a little deaf girl, and then he just throws a fucking tree at the sky, and the sky shatters because he's been Truman Showed. He's in a fucking simulation.
He has.
Which was a twist. I was not expecting that at all.
No, I didn't see it coming at all.
No, yeah, I think he was just transported there at some point. Don't know how. Like you say, they do not bring it up at all. But yeah, clearly at some point they got him.
Well, we see two modes of transporting Kong in this. Both are incredibly mean.
Both of them just never explained as well. Like, how did they even go? How did they sedate him? What did they do?
How did someone get under the bulk of Kong's body to hook up a net? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. I have no idea. I don't. There's a lot of physics stuff in this movie which doesn't quite make. I don't know.
All of those helicopters are flying way too straight to be holding.
Well,
up.
there's that. But I don't know in what possible fucking, maybe this one, but in what possible universe do you have a 400-foot dinosaur, a 350-foot fucking monkey, both standing on the same ship and it doesn't immediately sink? Like,
yeah, it's so true. They're having like a weighted fight as well.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Granted, it doesn't last long. It does break, but it lasted too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty ridiculous, but the whole thing's ridiculous. So whatever.
What do you think of it overall? Did you like it overall?
Really liked it. Yeah, really liked it. As I said to you yesterday, I was spoiled on one thing from this movie. I had a feeling anyway that it would have been that Mechagodzilla was going to be in it. But like the other day, I was just on YouTube, wasn't searching for anything in particular. It was just there on my fucking home screen. Godzilla versus Kong review #Mechagodzilla. I'm like, why the fuck would you do that?
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Whoever did that, good one, mate. Cheers.
Fucking arsehole. Yeah. So that was kind of a bummer.
Can't wait to put this out with the title #Mechagodzilla in this movie confirmed podcast.
But it wasn't like a big dramatic reveal or anything. It was just like, oh yeah, Mechagodzilla's here.
Yeah. Like halfway through the movie, they were just like, by the way, we're building a robot one.
Yeah, exactly. But it was quite cool. But yeah, no, I liked this movie. It's dumb. It's big fucking spectacle action. The fight scenes were incredible, particularly the last one at the end. I got so hyped watching them team up and go against Mechagodzilla, who was kind of Ghidorah. Mechagodzilla became Ghidorah.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like because as soon as the guy went, by the way, we don't want to rush this. Like, we don't know what this, I don't know, fucking bit of soil or whatever from the upside down place or whatever the fuck.
Shout out, Millie.
This movie's so weird. Yeah, like as soon as he was like, we don't want to rush this, and the guy was like, nah, we're going to rush this. You know the reason why. It's because I'm the movie villain, and despite the fact I've spent years building to this moment, I'm going to fuck it at the last minute.
It's all of that stuff is so the humans in this are so like the bad humans in particular are so fucking stupid. Like there's that new company Apex which has just shown up out of nowhere. And then like the
Japan's
owner's
biggest conglomerate.
Yeah, exactly. And then the owner of that, his daughter is for some reason with like one of the groups in this movie. For some reason, we don't know why, but she's just there. It turns out she's there to be evil at some point. And then when she does go, look at me, I'm evil now, she's just immediately killed. And like, yeah, I mean, what was you expecting if you decided to betray a fucking 300 feet gorilla? You fucking idiot.
Yeah, like when you think about her actual
plan. In
what
what world was that going to end well for you?
When you think about her actual plan, her plan was to like get some fucking air or some soil in a little tube, right? And then send the results to her dad. So
a pretty good signal considering they were literally in the middle of the earth.
Yeah, true. I didn't think about that. But what I'm thinking you could have done right is get your little test sample and then just on the sly send it to your dad. And not just go, by the way, I'm evil. And I'm gonna say that with the fucking the equivalent of a building ready to drop on me at any moment. And then obviously that happens immediately and she's dead, which was a satisfying death. I did like seeing that one.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But even Kong just thought nothing of it. Like they just started shooting at him and then he just like nonchalantly kind of grabbed the ship and just crushed it, and he was like, "Oh, fair enough."
I quite liked that Kong had a more like human element to him in this. Obviously, he gets to speak.
Kong was like the hero of this movie. Like Godzilla is a bit of a dick in this movie. I mean, it makes sense why, but this movie like opens up like Godzilla's the bad guy now, which is weird because we just spent 2 movies with him being like the world's hero or whatever. He did destroy a lot of stuff.
That was the thing for me. So Warner Brothers does this thing where they like to get 2 big IPs and then get them to fight. And I was wondering how they were going to get these 2 to fight because in both the movies they're presented as quite like, despite the fact they're big fucking evil monster things, they're presented as not evil but like big monsters with the capability of wiping out humans if they wanted to. They're both presented as like of good kind of moral just character. So I was a little bit like, surely at one point, it's because it's going to really piss me off if they get to the big showdown and they both just go, nah, I'm the only big monster allowed. And then they have a fight. So immediately when Godzilla was like being a prick, I was like, well, there's going to be a reason. There's going to be a plot-heavy reason as to why and the reason was because they were making an evil him. And Godzilla doesn't want his good name sullied and put into the ground. Mass murderer Godzilla. So, yeah, I immediately thought there's got to be a plot device for these two to fight because Warner Brothers need a reason for these two to want to beef each other. And I liked that as soon as that kind of reason was done, as soon as they did beef each other, there was the moment where they were both like, who can roar the loudest? And then they both realised that each other were cool. It's so fucking dumb.
It's really, it's very stupid.
Yeah. But I think it's the reason why, like, cinemas exist, personally.
The biggest tragedy of this movie is that I couldn't watch it in a cinema because in the UK this is only a on home release because cinemas still aren't open here. So I had to watch this at home, as did everyone. Fortunately, I got a new TV, so it was a bit of an upgrade. But it was still watching this in the cinema would have been fucking amazing, especially for that final battle. Fucking the moment Godzilla gets up off his ass and goes to help Kong, I literally fucking cheered. It was so good seeing that scene.
I had a moment in this, so it's quite ridiculous, and it kind of stems from the fact that like Kong wanted to help Godzilla. I wrote down in my notes at one point, why in this universe is anyone at this point trying to do anything other than kill Godzilla, who causes billions in property damage and murders so many people? Like Kong,
you know what?
I get Kong because they've secluded him to his island. And to be honest, for the most part, up until the 70s, he was chilling, causing absolutely no problems for anyone. So Kong, but whereas Godzilla, every couple of years, every like studio mandated break time between movies, he gets up and comes out of the ocean and goes, right, what can I fuck up? And then always at the end of it just goes, oh, I'll see you guys later. Just fucks off back again. Right?
Well, yeah.
The fact that there's a loyalist group of humans that are like, no, Godzilla's a good bloke. Like he doesn't care about you.
Well, I guess the in-universe argument for that is it's better. Well, without him, a lot more people would be dead because he is the one who stopped these monsters. So without him, basically the world would be ended. So yeah, it makes sense why you would cheer for him. But even so, you are right. It's so weird in the first movie in Godzilla where San Francisco has been fucking wiped out. It has been absolutely decimated. I mean, pretty much the only survivors are all in that like football stadium. And then they all see on a screen that Godzilla is alive and he's walking and everyone just starts cheering. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
No. Mate, at that moment, right, I'm telling you what would happen in real life is that everyone in that football stadium would be already having their death certificates written out as the entirety of San Francisco was nuked, right?
Yeah.
Because there is no and I know that wouldn't have done shit, but they don't know that. But yeah, everyone in that stadium would have just been considered a write-off as collateral damage. It would have been a big cover-up, and Godzilla would have had the fuck nuked out of him. Because they would have all gone collectively, let's not do this again.
That would have only made him stronger, though. And then he would have been able to melt everything because he's a big nuclear boy.
Because there would have been so much left to melt.
Yeah, that's true. What did you think of Mecha Godzilla / Ghidorah then?
I liked it. Like, it is... Again, this is the moment I wrote down in my notes. This is the dumbest shit. Like a big lizard fighting big robot lizard. But it was fine. And it was executed really well. Like, I liked the kind of... I knew it wasn't going to go swimmingly because, like I said, that guy's like, we shouldn't rush this. And the other guy's like, no, we're going to. But I liked the moment.
One of those guys is fucking Ken Watanabe's son. Like, I don't mean like in real life. I mean like in the movie. That's like Serizawa's son. And I'm like, why? Has that been established in other movies? Why is he now with a bad guy?
That happened in another one. That happened one of the like the army blokes that plays Cyborg's dad in Justice League, he's supposed to be the older version of John Goodman's like assistant.
What?
Yeah, so you know John Goodman's assistant in Kong Skull Island? The younger fella.
Who's his assistant? Who's his assistant in Skull Island?
I can't remember his name. I can't remember the actor's name at all, and I can't remember the characters either.
The black guy.
Yeah.
The guy who's I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, so him, you know the guy that plays Cyborg's dad in Justice League, who's in King of Monsters.
Is he in King of Monsters?
I'm pretty sure he is.
Did not notice that.
Oh well, he's supposed to be that guy. Basically, what I'm saying is there's a recurring theme of bringing characters that are either related or the same version of the character, and just not mentioning it, just being like, yeah, they'll get it. No, we don't.
All right.
It's your job to mention it. It's not mine. It's a different actor.
Yeah, that is weird. I mean, there is just no... I'm not sure if there is any reason why it's Serizawa's son, other than the name recognition, I guess. But then why is he evil and wanting to kill Godzilla when his dad loved Godzilla? But whatever.
I don't know at all.
Yeah.
I did like
Pretty
the way
stupid.
it was like pilot disconnected and he just got electrocuted, died. And then Mechagodzilla was still like up and rocking and then just kind of slowly turned. And then like Millie Bobby Brown, Julian Dennison, who was in this, I didn't realise.
I texted you yesterday saying 2 surprise actors have showed up so far. The other one was Ronnie Cheng. So anyway, he was great.
I liked that Julian Dennison was in this. He's got a deeper voice than I'm used to.
He's looking good.
He is looking good. He's looking cut. He's looking trim. So yeah, no, good on him. I do think the movie could have trusted him a little bit more with some better comedy lines. He's proven his comedic ability. Like it shouldn't be disputed anymore. So give him something funnier to do. I think the funniest moment. Oh, right. Also, do you want to know something else dumb? I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent. But there's
go
this
ahead.
movie. Like my appreciation for this movie is basically name the dumb things that I loved. No one in this enormous like $1 billion conglomerate company realized that their expansive plans to wipe out Godzilla could be foiled by a staff member spilling a drink. Like, there's a moment where Julian Dennison grabs the guy's whiskey, and by the way, he says like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a drink," and Julian Dennison goes, "Drink." Like that's supposed to be a word that is gonna harken back to something else. But no, he just grabs his whiskey, pours it over an extremely normal-looking bit of console, and then Mechagodzilla
it just blows up.
Just starts blowing up. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Like,
It's
imagine
so stupid.
being the staff member that came in and just spilt your coffee in the morning, and then just Mechagodzilla.
And suddenly your fucking multi-billion-dollar Godzilla is fucking blowing up all because you spill your Starbucks.
I mean, it's dumb. It's seriously dumb.
It's very dumb. It's very dumb. But I don't know. I like one thing which was, well, I guess shows really how little attention I was paying to the kind of human storyline. Is Alexander Skarsgård. His name in this movie is Nathan, my name, and I shit you not, I literally had no fucking idea until right at the end when he had been knocked out, and the female character whose name I've forgotten, she just said Nathan, like right into the camera, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Is this movie talking to me?
There's that actress is shot like however many names there are on planet Earth. Like she's shot that she's still shooting that scene and they're live updating it, just to speak to the individual audience member. This is right. What did you think of the other elements of like the human aspect in this? Did you like the podcast guy?
I did like the podcast guy.
It was good.
He was good. He was very funny. Millie Bobby Brown is about as good as she was in the last movie, which isn't a criticism against Millie Bobby Brown. I actually like her, but she's fine.
She's fine. She's there to be like, oh right, sorry. another tangent incoming.
There we go.
What is it with this franchise and just dropping out human characters like they're no one? Like, just have a story, just have a through line of the same humans.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I know they've had
true.
Millie Bobby Brown, Carl Chandler in 2 of them. I know they had Ken Watanabe, and I know they've had.
But I mean, Kyle Chandler is like in one scene in this movie.
Yeah, it's true, and he's one of his scenes. I swear, it's just him texting, like, "Where are you?" Like, and the Sally wasn't in this. Big Sally.
Yeah, no, because she died in King of Monsters.
Oh fuck! Oh, yeah. Well, that shows it, doesn't it? Yeah, of course she did.
She got eaten by Ghidorah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, come back to life and be in the movie. She was good. I liked her, and she's got experience.
She was good,
like dealing with weird animal kind of things. She fucked that fish that one time.
She did fuck that fish that one time. Good for her.
Good for her. Inclusive.
Yeah, the yeah, definitely. The little girl was good. I think she's from like an all deaf family, which is quite strange, but pretty cool. Yeah. And then all the other characters were dumb, but they were all villains. So fuck 'em.
It's very true. Yeah. Yeah. No, I thought most of this was good. This is just your stereotypical dumb popcorn movie. I'll be honest, right? There's a reason that Kong Skull Island is my number one over this, because I think overall, like, this has got the makings to be a number one, and I think will be a lot of people's favorite out of this whole universe.
Yeah,
I just don't think technically it does much as a film. I think it very much so knows what it is quite clearly, which is to be a popcorn kind of dumb watch and cheer for your favorite monster kind of thing.
If you go into any of these movies expecting serious, thought-provoking cinema, just walk away.
Oh no,
what
no,
the fuck are you doing?
So I agree with that, but that's not what I'm saying. I don't think it needs to be that. But like what Kong Skull Island did in terms of like stylistic approach, having a standout, clear like directing vision. Having it all shot in a very interesting way. Like, I don't think there's a wasted shot in that movie. I really do think it's a rare piece, which is something so stupid to say about a movie with a big monkey in it. But like, genuinely, like, I can't describe the level of a U-turn I've done on this movie. Like, I really appreciate it as like a kind of a good piece of like what filmmakers should aspire to watch if they want to like expand on a creative vision. And yeah, like I think the reason that Godzilla v Kong: Dawn of Justice isn't number one for me is just because it's like it's great and it knows what it is, but I think it could have been just a little bit more. Personally, I think it could have tried to blend Kong's cinematic style into this movie a little bit more and found more of a happy medium than it did. I think it did a little bit, but they played it a bit too safe for me.
Fair enough. Yeah, mostly the same. Really liked it. Again, very, very dumb movie. Like I said, it's not thought-provoking cinema at all. It's not going to win an Oscar. Well, could win visual effects or something, I guess. But it's not going to win like a serious Oscar or anything like that. It is just a dumb...
So many visual effects eyes just screaming right now, Nathan. One of the hardest Oscars to win, and you're like, they're not going to win a serious one. They're not going to win a serious award like Best Pretending.
That's good. That's a good joke. Best Pretending. I like that.
I often find my jokes
fair enough.
best complimented live on air.
That was kind of mean to me. Fair enough, but you know what I mean. Yeah. These are just dumb popcorn movies. You get what you want. You know what you're going to get with them, and I think that's why they have the reputation that they have, really, and especially this one. This one is doing quite well at the moment. A lot of people are talking about it. It's doing well, so yeah, it is.
No, I'm excited,
and also Godzilla could definitely fucking kill Kong. Like, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
Like, Kong was fucking done. Kong was on his ass. Yeah, granted, Kong did save Godzilla, but if he wanted to at the end, Godzilla could have finished that monkey off. So.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like Kong was able to match Godzilla at the last little bit because Godzilla had been torn to shreds. Like Kong is my favorite. I went into I don't really do this normally, but I was a big Team Kong stan. I knew, right, but I don't normally do this because I'm smarter than this, and I know that none of them are gonna die because they both make too much fucking money. So like, it's like when everyone was like, I'm Team Iron Man, I'm like, I'm Team neither because it doesn't matter. I don't agree with either one of them because the movie's going to make them both a little bit correct so that they can still sell toys.
Well, you heard it here first. Lawrence is better than you because he doesn't buy into marketing.
I don't fall for it, and you're all dumb. No, so like, but I
specifically remember you saying you were Team Iron Man.
No. There's a difference. There's a difference between leaning more to Iron Man's political stance in that movie than being I'm Team Iron Man because of
By
lasers.
The way, this argument is actually getting brought up quite a lot now, the whole Team Iron Man versus Team Cap, and a lot of people saying Iron Man's wrong, a lot of people saying Cap's wrong. They're both wrong, okay? That's the entire point of the movie.
What better place to get into it than in a podcast 6 years after the movie came out as well?
Exactly.
So yeah,
about a different movie as well. A podcast about a different movie.
We're not even talking. The biggest thread that we can come up to link these two is that they've got a similar marketing tactic.
Well, there you are. There's our discussion on Godzilla versus Kong and all the MonsterVerse. In conclusion, both Captain America and Iron Man were wrong. Join us next week when we are talking about the Star Wars prequels. Ooh. Everyone's favourite bunch of memes. So there you go. Join us for that.
They actually are reduced to memes quite a lot, but there's more to them, Nathan. We're going to discuss them all.
There are. Yeah, absolutely. So, anything to say, Lawrence? Anything to finish on?
Yes. Leave this podcast a review, for fuck's sake. It's free. For fuck's sake.
Free.
It's free. And it would be nice. It's not like you're giving us money, right? You're just helping us be seen. We've done more than 20 of these now, so just fucking do your part.
Yeah, fair enough. But also, only if it's 5 stars. Otherwise, you don't have to worry. Like if you're gonna rate it 3 or 2 or 1, just don't worry about it. We'll manage. But 5 stars, yeah, go ahead.
I think a strong case can be made for a good 4-star review, provided you leave a nice comment. Provided you say something. For example, if you gave it a 4-star and said it's great, but I was asked to do this review and it doesn't feel genuine, that's fine. That's the only instance you can leave a 4-star review.
I guess that's fair.
Fantastic. Right, next week we're doing the prequels. We will see you next week. Thank you for listening, and have a lovely, lovely week.
Have a podcasting week. I don't know what that means. Another happy pod.